This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who make a difference in our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing can engage your brand online. They can help you out with your search engine optimization, make sure you're at the top of Google list, build you a website, and do a ton of stuff to engage your business online. If you could benefit from any of that, check out pixelfiremarketing.com today. Joining me inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio is Jackie Caudillo with Big O Sno. Jackie, thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I got to ask, Omaha is known for its food and its vendors, and there are a ton of options out there. Food trucks have become this thing they've kind of picked up over the last 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Why was the food truck industry the right option for you?
It's very inclusive to where you can like take your stuff on the run. You can service people. I used to watch the Great Food Truck Race, and I thought, that's pretty cool. But I didn't want to cook in a hot box. I love cooking. I love baking. And I grew up, chasing the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that's kind of fun.
Sure.
And I was the one eating the snow cones, not the ice cream. So I thought,
Yeah, can you let everybody know what Big O Sno is and what you guys do?
We're a mobile shaved ice business. I've got a truck and a trailer and a tent set up, so it can be like 3 places at once. So we can show up at your graduation parties, school events. We like doing fundraisers for schools, churches, things like that. So we shave the ice, pour on the flavors.
Is there a unique event that you guys have done that maybe when you opened the food truck, you thought, I didn't think this would be in our repertoire?
I did a biker rally. It was
okay.
a bike show, and
Sure.
there's, some interesting folks there.
I was about to say, that sounds like there's a lot of stories there maybe you can't share on a podcast.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Can you explain what Big O Sno is and what you guys actually do?
So it's a mobile shaved ice truck, and I shave the ice, and I have 80 flavors. So my flavors I get from New Orleans. So they're rich, bold, southern flavors. I mix everything fresh myself, the sugar water and the concentrates I get from New Orleans, like I said. So I've got 80 flavors, so I'm unique in that capability. And I've got up to 14 sugar-free or low-sugar options. I've also got dye-free, because some kids are allergic to food dyes. And as we know that, the Red 40 thing is a big hot topic right now. So I can make, a lot of flavors without added colors. And I'm thinking about adding a naturals line to where they're naturally colored. My clementine flavor is one of those I've been testing out, and it's dyed with carrots. So there's no artificial dyes in it.
What is the biggest hurdle about providing 70 plus flavors, and what are the benefits of it?
The benefits are that people have variety. They're not just stuck with the top 8 to 10 flavors, which those are my best sellers, and I've got those in bulk. Some people ask what the flavors are because I get them from New Orleans. They've got some unique flavors, and I've had to rename a few because people are like, what is
that?
Yeah, what is Dober's cake? So I just renamed it chocolate cake because Dober's cake is native to New Orleans. It's a really rich chocolate cake.
Yeah.
So I just renamed it chocolate cake.
Put that type of chocolate in beignets and things like that.
Yeah.
What is the biggest hurdle of a couple of questions? That many flavors, but also getting them from such a faraway place like New Orleans. I mean, it's not Australia, but it's
right. Well, we like taking a trip down there to New Orleans every year to get our supplies and whatnot. Okay. So we go stock up. They're in concentrate form so that I add to homemade sugar water. So it's a little more portability. So I'm not buying that big of a thing of supplies every year. But pouring 70 flavors, I have them alphabetized and numbered.
Oh,
so there's a big rack behind me. Yeah, pretty easy to find. And I had a kid test me one time. He was like, "How do you know where that's at?" I'm like, This is what I do. He's like, "Where's Tiger's Blood?" So I just reached for it.
Tiger's Blood, nice. Obviously, food trucks and dessert trucks come with a little bit of an extra obstacle, being mobile and gas prices and things like that. We talk about the business end of things. How do you kind of like inflation's a hot topic. I don't know if you know this, but how do you manage? We want to keep things affordable. We want to be able to give back, but we also need to make a profit and be able to pay for gas and mechanical work as well.
Right. Well, my husband's a mechanic.
There you go.
Yeah,
problem one down.
Problem solved on that one. My profit margins are a little different than restaurants. I don't have a spoilage factor. Like people complain that there's a minimum on food trucks. Oh, we have to pay you to come out if you don't make so much money. Well, they're chopping vegetables and meat, cooking meat, things like that. My ice stays frozen. I've got a freezer on board. I don't have any waste, so
Sure.
that helps me out. I waste my time if the event flops, and they do.
Yeah.
Or they don't get the crowd they expect. Like it happens. But then I run out when it's swamped and I
Right.
get too many people. So my profit margins are a little bit different in that aspect, where I've got a friend with a liquor store, so I bag my own ice.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's accessible for me. I can, if I run out at a festival, I can get bagged ice real quickly.
What is, I guess, what is the biggest difference for you personally from a workforce standpoint when an event does flop versus a sellout? I mean, are those things just, is it just shaved ice that's all the same, or is it one of those things that we'd prefer one end versus the other?
It's kind of a give and take.
Sure.
I've had an event that did super well, so I was like, heck yeah, I'm doing that next year. And then the next year, they just didn't get the crowd because of, weather is a big
Yeah.
impact on crowds, things like that. So it's just, you roll with the punches.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because obviously weather right now, probably not
Right. Oh,
ideal
no.
for the snow cone industry.
I'm in hibernation.
Okay, I was going to ask, what does it look like between the months of like October through maybe March for Big O Sno?
Well, this is the first summer that I quit my job back in March
Sure.
of this year
Yeah.
to do this full time, because last year I was kind of turning down more events that I could do because of my work schedules, 8 to
Right.
5, Monday through Thursday. And not always guaranteed to get off on time at 5 o'clock. Sometimes it'd be there's just 6 auditing charts. So it's the first year I've not done anything, but I'm working on taxes and, preparation
that time
and
of year.
inventory. Yeah. Inventory for next year.
Does this time of year allow you to be creative and kind of think about what the busy season is going to look like, flavors you may want to add, things like that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The downtime.
Are you fully
always-
hibernated? You don't
I'm
want to
fully
think about
hibernated.
Okay.
I'm kind of turned off.
Well, I apologize for getting you out of
No,
hibernation to
that's
this
okay.
podcast.
No, that's okay. I kind of have my menu set, and I've tried it for a couple years and kind of weeded things out and added things, and I'm kind of set in my ways, and I'm very particular and type A
Sure.
about things. So I don't see me adding or subtracting anything in the near future.
When we talk about business owners and people that are entrepreneurs, most of them are type A, and a lot of them have to deal with the hassle of hiring and maybe taking their idea and handing it off to somebody else. Have you added anybody to your team, and what does that process look like for you?
I have not full time yet. I'm going to have to this next summer. We just had the trailer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just had the trailer. The first 2 seasons. First one, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. It
Sure.
was after hours and just kind of making connections and with people and doing small events and then networking. Putting myself out there. So
Sure.
then last year, got really busy and added the truck, and it was my husband and I, and had a lot of friends help out. Their 14, 15-year-olds volunteered to help out because they needed
Sure.
hours for community work.
Right,
Or
there you go.
my daughter's best friend, my grown daughter, her best friend's been helping me out. So I've had a lot of really good help from my inner circle. So next year, yes, I'm going to have to hire, and it's those people that have been helping me out and volunteering their time that I'm going to.
Networking is a topic that comes up in this room a lot. It feels like it's a really big deal in the Omaha area. When did you start networking with Big O Sno, and how has it benefited your business?
I started right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like I'm a dental hygienist by
Sure.
trade, and
There's
I'm really-
irony in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, a little bit of irony. It's not lost on me. But even while talking to my patients, that's how I got some of the really big events I did. One of my patients was a car guy, and I'm a talker. My husband's restoring an old classic car, so like, oh my gosh, that car show up there on 120th and Center. I've always wanted to get in on. He's like, oh, it's my buddy Jordan. Here's his number. And
Omaha, folks.
Right. Yes. Omaha. Everyone knows everyone. It's like 2 degrees of separation.
Take me back to the beginning, because I think we jumped past that part as a whole. What did the discussion sound like why shaved ice, and why did you decide to take this venture on?
So backtrack 15 years ago.
Sure.
I was watching the Great Food Truck Race, and one of my dental hygiene Facebook pages, there was a girl who had a cotton candy truck. And I thought, oh, that's fun. I need fun in my life. Because
Sure.
dentistry, not everyone likes being there. It's very stressful, hard on your
Dentists
body.
and funds don't really go together very
So
well.
I told my husband, I need happy in my life. And I looked into a shaved ice franchise long time ago, and they weren't ready to expand this far out. So I kind of forgot about it for a while,
Sure.
but never really forgot. My dad.
Why shaved ice?
It's just fun.
Okay.
It's
All
fun.
right, yeah,
I love
I didn't
snow
know if it
cones.
was-
I love popsicles, that kind of
Who
stuff.
doesn't, right? Yeah.
Right. And I also look at the profit margins on things.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're catching up with Jackie Caudillo of Big O Sno here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. Talk to me about the truck itself. How did you guys come to get the truck, And what happens with the truck while you're in hibernation?
So it started out as a discussion in my cousin's driveway. We were
Oh, okay.
barbecuing, and it's like this, I want to do this. I want to do this. My husband's like, okay, cool your heels. You don't need to go with a franchise. Do it yourself. You've been researching this for years, and start with a trailer because we already have a pickup truck to tow it. Start small and then branch out from there. So that
Right.
was 2021. So I flew down to New Orleans. I got online right away, and I looked up supplies. And I know I wanted New Orleans. My dad is from Louisiana.
Okay.
So, and he lived down in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yep, I know exactly what it is.
Yep, he was in the veterans home. So I
Okay.
go down there to visit him, and I'm always eating shaved ice when I'm down there. And I was like, I love these flavors. There's
Sure.
just nothing like it. There's available around here. So my husband,
At least at
and-
that time.
At that time, yeah. So my husband and his cousins are all gearheads, they're all car guys. They're like, oh, we can do this to a trailer. We can modify it this way. We can do this, this, and this. And I'm like, you guys all have families, and my husband's on the road a lot. He's a railroader.
Okay.
So it's like, I found one already built, and they supply my flavors. He's like, oh. So flew down to New Orleans, and I checked it out, and I was sold. The lady I talked to, Rachel, at my supplier, fantastic lady. She put me in contact with the people who build the trailers. They were just kind of a reseller.
You mentioned that at the beginning of the season, you go down to New Orleans and get all your products for the year. How often are you running out of things, or have you kind of gotten it down to a size? Because we're going into year number 4 of doing this.
Right.
That it's you know what you need, what you don't need, and it's kind of worked itself out at this point.
It's kind of worked itself out.
Wow,
I kind
okay.
of overbought the first, because everything's in concentrate. I wasn't
Because
very
of course
busy.
you're going to make $1 million in your first
Right,
year.
exactly.
Yeah, that's and the franchise model option of it's really interesting to me because that's a topic of discussion that's come up a ton in this room, and a lot of people we've talked to have been open about. We love the franchise model because we had feedback. Do you feel like that you just did enough research that you didn't need somebody to go fall back on and things like
Pretty
that?
much.
Okay.
That's what my husband said. He's
Are you surprised by that?
kind of.
Okay, yeah, because I no offense to you. I mean, we don't know
Right.
each other, but I am too. Because I like honestly, it would scare me to death. So
Yeah.
that's very impressive.
Once I decide to do something, I jump into it full force.
Sure.
And I don't look back.
I have to ask. You mentioned that 2021, obviously, when you're a dental hygienist and you're in the middle of a pandemic and people aren't really opening their mouths a whole lot. Is that kind of what started this discussion to be more of a realistic
yeah.
thing?
I've always wanted my own business. And
Sure.
I've dabbled, I sold Mary Kay back in the day. And, I've dabbled in
Yeah.
some things. And just nothing was ever a good fit. And I looked into other franchise opportunities and just the cost of starting up. It's like,
It's a lot. Yeah.
it is, yeah. And then you got to give them a part of your profits. And that was kind of like, that's what my husband said. He goes,
Sure.
you
Why
want to
work
work
for
for someone else, keep cleaning teeth.
Yeah,
You want to work
exactly.
for yourself. And that's why I didn't go with the franchise model. There's nothing wrong with the franchise model.
Yeah,
It
it
works
just
for a lot of
wasn't for
people.
you.
This wasn't for me because he's like, you know what you're doing. You've been researching this.
We've had a lot of people in here that have had similar discussions to what you just laid out, and it's always I was talking to my partner, I was talking to my husband, I was talking to my wife. We were discussing and doing research. What did that conversation sound like, and how supportive? Your husband's name is
Tom.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah.
How much? How did that discussion go? And what was your biggest fear not to do it?
I didn't have any fears not to
Really?
do it.
Wow,
I really
okay.
didn't. My only
This
fear.
is episode number 329. That's the first time somebody said that, by the way.
I have more guts than brains.
Hey, that's not always a bad thing. It's
My
not always a
mom
bad
always
thing.
said that when I was
Yeah.
younger because I did so much research. And it's like when I
They say
decided.
it fears lack of preparation, so that's
Yeah.
understandable.
And just like when I decided to go to dental hygiene school, I was a dental assistant for 12 years prior, kind of did my research and just jumped into it, started taking my prerequisites, and then went to school for it. Never looked back, never had any fears on that. So, and even my best friend, she's like, I wish I could be like you. Even when you wanted to learn how to play tennis, you just jumped into it.
Sure.
You did your research, you jumped into it, and you signed up for lessons. And
How's the tennis game now?
I haven't played in a while.
Okay.
My daughter was my main tennis buddy, and she went to school out east.
Okay.
And stayed.
Pickleball's a little easier on the joints.
I know.
Just heads up.
I've been looking into it, but I don't need another hobby.
Sure. No, they always say if you need somebody to do something, ask somebody who's busy.
Right.
When we talk about growth for Big O Sno, has there been thoughts of a bigger truck, maybe adding food to the equation? What does growth look like?
Well, licenses are different in Omaha,
Yep.
so I'm considered drink only.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have to have a different permit, different license to add any food. There's prepackaged food. And I kind of stick with what I know.
Sure.
I thought about lemonade for a while since it was a drink, but then it just kind of takes away from the flow of things.
Yeah.
So got it down. And as for growth, I don't think I could find a bigger truck. I added a 16-foot Morgan Olson.
That's pretty big, yeah.
It's bigger than
At
I
least street
thought it was
legal
going to
anyway,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, right. It's a big FedEx kind of truck.
Yeah. When we talk about having a truck that size or having to maintain that, are you surprised with how little maintenance is there? Is there more maintenance than you thought? What does that
I
look
just
like?
started with that in August. I kind of got a wild hair to call the manufacturers like, hey, I need a truck. And just to see how things could go and look at that path.
What do you do with, or what does the truck do while you're not in service?
It's parked in my driveway,
Nice.
plugged in.
Okay.
The trailer is stored down. Front of mine has a motel and RV storage unit complex down in Auburn, Kansas. Nebraska.
Okay.
So the trailer's there.
You guys do a ton of fundraisers as well.
Yeah.
When you do those, you give a percentage of sales
do.
back to the fundraiser.
do.
Why is that such a big deal for you?
Just because I have been the head of fundraising, like when my daughter was in school, I helped out with the PTO, and it's hard for people like that because there's a lot of kids that can't afford to buy the wrapping paper and the cookie dough.
Sure.
So if you can have a fundraiser that doesn't look like a fundraiser, you show up at the carnival.
A fundraiser?
A fundraiser, yeah, there you go. The price point's very small. It's $4. Everyone can afford a shaved ice instead of $25 for frozen pizza or
Sure.
cookie dough, things like that. So especially if they have multiple children in the school. So it's kind of a fundraiser without being a fundraiser, and that's a little easier on the parents instead of got 12 fundraisers to pay for this year or churches. And
Do you guys, is there a certain event that you guys do every year that you love?
I do a lot of vacation Bible schools.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
those are fun. Their last day, they have a big,
Sure.
dunk tank kind of thing. So I got a couple churches that get a hold of me every year.
Is that something that you anticipated when you opened the door, or is that something that kind of fell in your lap?
No, it just kind of fell in my lap.
Sure.
Someone called. They're like, hey, we had a cancellation at the last minute. Are you available? And I'm like, sure. And that was my entire first year because everyone was booked that had a schedule because I've already got half my summer booked.
Just in a little bit of time we've been talking here, you kind of feel, you mentioned when you do something, you jump head first in and you're all in. But you're talking about this time of year and you hibernate for a little bit. You said it with a big smile on your face. Are you okay with taking your hand off the wheel and taking this time away and enjoying
Yes.
the winter months? Have you always been like that?
No,
Why do you think that is now?
I don't know. I think I'm just at that point in my life. I'm in my 50s, and it's like
Maybe
you know what, it's
working
time
all
to-
the time isn't great.
Yeah, it's time to relax. And I have hobbies.
Sure.
I do crafting and
Yeah.
whatnot. So I have stuff to keep me busy.
Obviously, it's a new year. What should people expect at a Big O Snow in 2025? Oh, okay.
I don't give away my secrets.
All right.
I don't know.
If somebody would like to book the truck, how can they get a hold of you to do
I've
so?
got my website, thebigosno.com, www.thebigosno.com. You can email me. I've got Facebook, The Big O Snow, and Snow does not have a W in it, just S-N-O.
It does not. Why is that? I meant to ask that.
It's just in the
be
shaved ice
unique?
industry, it's
Sure.
called Snow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And we'll go ahead and throw the website is now scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Everybody following us on Facebook, the page is tagged there. When we talk about the ideal client, what does that look like for Big O Snow?
Everybody.
I mean, it's kind of hard to find somebody who does like shaved ice, right?
Yeah, little kids love it. I do a lot of nursing homes, amazingly. So, and it's nostalgia for them because, cold treats on a
Walk
hot
back
day.
memory lane, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any events or maybe events that are too big that you don't do, or is it just kind of open availability?
No, I'm confident in my abilities. I can get a shaved ice out the window in about 6 seconds.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah,
we're checking.
it's pretty speedy. So
We're catching up with Jackie Caudillo of Big O Snow here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. I'll talk about you for a second. You're out playing tennis. You're a mom. You're a wife. You're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. How are you able to kind of, obviously you got some time off in the wintertime, but to stay motivated, keep your nose to the grindstone, but also do all that at the same time?
well, my daughter's out of the house. I'm
Sure.
an empty nester.
Yeah.
So I got a little
you
time
don't ever
on
really
my hands.
stop being mom, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, that's true, but she doesn't live locally,
Yeah.
so that freed up a little bit of time for
yeah,
me.
okay.
My job was pretty much 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, so I had a lot of time on my hands to plan things and do things, and now my schedule is exactly opposite. I'm
Yeah.
all evenings and weekends and holidays now.
We talked about franchises. Is there ever maybe a thought process to turn this into one?
I thought about it, and I have talked to somebody, but it's kind of named after Omaha, the big
Sure.
O.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I mean,
don't
Nebraska
know.
Furniture Mart's in Texas and Kansas.
That
though,
is true,
so-
and Iowa.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't.
in Des
The more,
Moines.
the more you know.
Des Moines, Kansas City, yeah.
If you weren't a dental hygienist, if you weren't running a snow cone truck, what would you be doing?
I don't know, laying on the beach.
Yeah. Take me with you.
Right.
For you, I mean, where do you want this business to? Is the you've talked about the franchise, but I mean, is that the goal? Like right now, today, where would you like this business?
I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time.
Okay.
I had no idea I was going to be this busy this fast.
Sure.
I just thought it was going to be kind of an evenings and weekends and as needed kind of thing. The first year it was kind of like that. Second year kind of blew up and it just kind of took me by surprise.
You don't have to break your arm patting yourself on the back if you don't want to. But I mean, do you think that you got this busy this fast because of how good you are at doing it? There's just that high of a demand. Why do you think the success has been?
Demand, the fascination with food trucks. Everyone
Sure.
likes the portability of it. Festivals, accessibility because there'd be one concession stand with a 2-mile long line. So it serves a niche that wasn't there before.
What for lack of a better term, what's the Super Bowl? What's the if we get there we made it moment for Big O Sno?
I don't know.
Is there one? Or is it just stay busy?
Not having to make the calls myself because
Sure.
I contact people like, hey, we worked together last year before. We still on for this year. Do you want to do anything else?
Are you starting to see that trickle in a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've already got a couple things that I do every year. Big
Sure.
things.
Is that a lot attributed to networking as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's honestly with the stuff we do with high school sports. It's the same exact way with the radio show. We kind of covered a ton today. Is there anything about Big O Sno that we haven't mentioned that people should know about you?
No.
One more time. I mean, tell people where they can get a hold of you, just in case anybody missed that.
402-980-9301 is my phone number. You can text, you can call. www.thebigosno.com is my website.
Scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now.
Yep. And then email me, message me through Facebook, message me through if you're friends with me, you can find me on my regular
Sure.
Facebook. But
Sure.
there's lots of ways to get a hold of me.
We tagged you there too.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackie, I appreciate you doing this. Thanks for taking time out of your not so busy time of year for us. We appreciate it. We didn't get to catch up with Alex Drake yesterday due to some technical difficulties. We'll have him on in the next couple weeks. We are booked out for the next couple weeks. I want to thank everybody that joined us on social media to book on the show. We'll be back on Monday at 11 again. Talking to a new coffee place here in Omaha. I'll have to change my drink cup up on Monday. But I'm excited to talk. It's somebody that's been in the Omaha area making an impact for a long time, and they're opening up a new business, and we're excited to talk about it. Hopefully you can join us at 11 a.m. on Monday to find out who it is. This is the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. We'll see you Monday at 11.